Chair. Colleagues, I share the concern that many of you have expressed today that the cuts as proposed in the May revise would hit the Californians who can least afford it. We've talked about heartbreaking cuts to child care, to education, to health care, to reproductive health care, to our seniors. But I think for me, as a mother and as a member of this body, the cuts that I find most heartbreaking is the fact that this budget fails California's kids. And when we talk about devastating cuts to education, it's not just a line item. It's an investment in California kids, and it's an investment in California's future. So a couple of questions for you, Director, and thank you so much for being here with us today. So from my perspective, before we contemplate any of these truly devastating cuts, and before we ask California's taxpayers to open their wallet ever wider, I think that we need to be really honest with ourselves and really scrutinize our spending and ensure that we are spending California's tax dollars efficiently and effectively. So my colleague from Merced mentioned that over the course of, I think it's the past 10 years, we've seen a 70% growth in general fund expenditures and non-education general fund expenditures at the same time that our population has grown by 10%. So it's helped me wrap my mind around that, because that to me seems like there's a ton of opportunity there. And then question 2, you did include one slide that talks about opportunities to enhance government efficiency, so thank you for that. Would love to, again, just understand a little bit more detail about what that actually means, how much we're going to get for that, as well as what other opportunities were explored, evaluated, and are potentially still on the table as we think about how are we going to confront, as we've said, an unprecedented crisis with an economy in free fall.
Thank you. In terms of the growth of the non-98 expenditures, the big components of the non-98 side of the budget are absolutely health and human services, higher education, and the correctional budget. Those are the main components. There is also debt service. There are our pension costs as well that are spread amongst the general fund and special funds. And then there are some general fund expenditures in both Natural Resources Agency, mainly parks, and Fish and Wildlife, which were why those two departments and that entire agency were, there are some significant reductions in the budget in 21-22 proposed in 2021 for Fish and Wildlife. Those are really, there's a lot of what's in those Resources Agency and Environmental Protection Agency are both funded with special funds. The same with the Labor and Workforce Development Agency as well. So a few of the things that have happened over the last 10 years, we've implemented the optional expansion to Medi-Cal, which is very important, covering all low-income Californians. And the federal government participates significantly in funding that. We've also been able to make significant investments in our higher education system over the last several years that have been very, very important to expanding access and especially addressing issues of equity. So those are a few of the things. Actually, in terms of debt service, we've actually declined over the last, in terms of our debt ratio, which has been good. We've been paying down debt, and we paid off the economic recovery bonds that were from really before the Great Recession was when those were issued. So that's one good news. There's been other augmentations along the way. A lot of it is restoring services that were lost during the Great Recession. That's the majority of what happened in terms of provider rates and other optional benefits. Dental, unfortunately, fortunately was just restored, and this May revision does not propose to eliminate the entire restoration of dental, just the partial, because of the, with absent federal funds. But in terms of overall government efficiencies, I'll go back to that. The goal is to really look at every department across state government, not just general fund departments, but also special fund departments, and look for approximately 5% reduction. And this is state operations. The bulk of the money that goes through the state's budget, it goes for local assistance. So state operations is really the state employees and the operation of government at the state level. And so over the next 2 years, we'll be looking at efficiencies that we can make, whether that be reducing office space, especially in lease space. We have a lot of real estate here in Sacramento. Can we do more to capitalize on all of the telework that's happening and find ways to reduce our footprint, our real estate footprint, and save money there? We're also looking at ways to put more services online to increase convenience for the public. During this pandemic, DMV was able to put 97% of their transactions online, especially with the advent of a virtual office visit. That really, I think, can improve the convenience for the public, but also can save money over time. These things are not easy. They will take some time to implement. Sometimes they do require implementation or investments in technology that can help modernize our current operations. But it's something our government operations agency is going to be leading statewide. We are also, obviously, because of COVID, it's clear that but in past recessions, we've also taken these actions, which is to really eliminate all unnecessary travel, reduce the number of purchases, reduce the number of new vehicles that are purchased, really trying to make sure that all of the people's money is being spent wisely and towards the effective implementation of the programs that the departments are responsible for. So that's going to be something that's ongoing over the next 2 years to reach that